Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Storage Summit. My name is Jason Adrian, and along with Dave Landsman, my co-chair, I want to welcome you to the Storage Subtrack, and want to give you a few updates on what you're going to hear about today and a few changes now that the summit is a virtual event. So being a virtual summit, we've made a few tweaks to the storage tracks. We removed the panels that normally would have been there, and instead we're going to move these into the storage calls. So specifically, these were going to be about future device interfaces and things like the SSD form factor panels. And many of the presentations themselves were meant to be introductions. They're meant to give you an overview of the topic from several different perspectives, and then those would lead into a panel. And in the absence of the panels, we will have plenty of time for each one of these presentations and some time after most of these. So please bring your questions into this interactive format and ask them after the panel. And if you're not able to join us live during the virtual summit, please reach out to the mailing list or to the presenters to learn more and continue the discussion. Let's look back a little bit to see what we've done in the last year. Within the last year, we published the fast fail read specification for hard drives. We've introduced and reviewed the cloud SSD specification, and we've had many engaging discussions on a few topics. First and foremost, we had the SSD form factor conversations around the EDSFF form factors, including E1S, E1L, and E3, and what the optimal form factors could be. We talked about hard drive queuing, how we can optimize magnetic devices as they continue to get larger, how can we better utilize them? And there are many different proposals. We shared a few within the group, and we expect those to continue moving forward. And we also introduced the topic of NVMe Connect hard drives and other future hard drive connectivity options. And all of this was just in the last few months. So moving forward, what are you going to see in 2020 and beyond? So the cloud SSD specification will be released shortly, and it'll become an official OCP specification. We're working on the thermal simulation standardization effort. You're going to hear more about that later on in the summit, but we want to continue this and really drive this forward. And while this may be born within the storage group, we do believe that the value proposition and the standardization efforts will apply to many different technologies, not just storage. And to continue the hard drive queuing requirements, which is one of those performance changes we were talking about earlier, we want to get some consensus within the group and then bring this to T10 and T13 to become officially standardized. And finally, to go back to talk about those NVMe drives, we've been talking about those for probably over a year within the group. However, this is the opportunity for us to try to find industry consensus that if these make sense and when these make sense, how do we proceed? Do we start standardizing it? Do we work on use cases? And really just driving it forward. So we're looking forward to all of this in 2020 and beyond. And a few more topics that we're going to hear about today. I already mentioned the SSD form factors, the SSD specification, but some of the new things that are going to continue, such as the simulation methodology for the thermals that we just talked about. And then acoustic noise. We've seen a few presentations in the group in our monthly calls, but when we start talking about hard drives that are impacted by acoustic noise, what does that look like, and how do we standardize that and think about it moving forward? We're going to talk about the interfaces, as we mentioned, and then continue on the hard drive queuing protocols and scheduling. And all of these will continue not only today, into the monthly calls and beyond. So again, enjoy the virtual summit. It's going to be a little bit different, but hopefully you enjoy it and continue the conversation both after the presentations as well as on the mailing list. Thank you very much. Looking forward to today. Hi everyone, are there any other questions before we kick off the rest of this track? All right, if there are no other questions, hope everyone enjoys the day. We have a lot of exciting stuff coming up. Please use the chat and the QA windows to ask the presenters or myself or Dave questions throughout the day, and looking forward to it. Thank you.